The last time of 2022. Are we live? Oh my goodness, are we live for the last time of 2022? Are we live? Okay, this is the year 2022 is almost over. This is crazy. This is absolutely wild. This year flew by, but for us Star Wars fans, we kind of ate well this year. We got 4 shows, all I think honestly better than bad. Let's put it that way. Tell me what you guys thought was your favorite show. The 4 shows, of course, being the Book of Boba Fett, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, the Andor show, and of course, Tales of the Jedi. What was your favorite show of 2022? Tell me in the chat. Of course, this is just wild. I can't believe this year's over. In 2023, I've been saying it for weeks now, is going to be the best year for Star Wars content. I've been saying it for weeks. It's going to be the best year for Star Wars content. But we can't deny that we didn't have a great year as Star Wars fans this past year. 2022. There's some ups and there was definitely some downs for us Star Wars fans with delays and all this crazy bad toxic fan base that we have here. But, we deal. Somehow we manage. But with all that being said, there was a lot of more good things than bad this year with Star Wars. So, of course, the 4 shows being the Book of Boba Fett. That started off the year. It kind of ended 2021. I think like the last episode was the last week of December or something weird like that. It was December 29th. I think the first episode came out. So about a year ago. And then it went into 2022. So we started the year off with the Book of Boba Fett. And it started off with kind of a bang, I guess, if you could consider the Book of Boba Fett a bang, because the episodes without Boba were great. I mean, some of the best Star Wars content that we've ever seen, but Boba wasn't even in his own show. So, I mean, however you want to take it, the Book of Boba Fett is where we start off. So the best of 2022 starts with Boba. So, before we start this, actually, we got some huge news going around at this channel. Obviously, I can't hook it up to the channel because we don't have enough subscribers yet. So hit that subscribe. But we have a store. We have a merch store. Yes, it is at aguyWholovesSW.com. That's where you can find it. But you can also find it on my Instagram. I know a lot of you guys follow me on Instagram. It is on my Instagram. We got some sick merch. This is for the Bad Batch Season 2 that starts this week. We got the Clone Force 99 t-shirts. You can get that in black or white. We also have this sick Hello There hat. You got a TIE Fighter, Imperial Fighter hat, of course. You have the Rebels logo on this side and the Imperial logo on that side. Then you got an X-Wing, a Rebel Fighter hat. So yeah, go check out that store. The Book of Boba Fett. The Book of Boba Fett. So it started off the year with the Book of Boba. And the Book of Boba Fett, rated out of 10 in the comments, because I'll give you my ranking. But tell me first what you guys rank it out of 10. The Book of Boba Fett. It started off the year, and it started pretty well. I mean, you can't go wrong with Boba Fett, right? Right? So Boba and Fennec. We followed them for about 10 minutes. And then we went to The Mandalorian, and everybody seemed to be excited about that. So, the Book of Boba Fett, Tamara Morrison, of course, back as Boba. He actually didn't play Boba in the original trilogy. A lot of fans who didn't like this show, they were like, oh, they ruined Boba. How? People forget Boba Fett was in the original trilogy. Sure, in Empire Strikes Back, he's introduced, and he's in Return of the Jedi. But for like 5 seconds. He has a solid 3-4 lines at most. So people just latched on to that character when he wasn't really much of a character. So when they tried to change him because he had a near-death experience, which makes sense, if you have a near-death experience, your outlook on life is going to change. So when that happened to Boba, people didn't seem to like it. But we didn't have to seem to like it because we quickly went to a different character in Din Djarin. Mando comes in episode 5, I think, and takes over the show. Completely takes over the show. Boba's actually not even in episode 5. It's all about Din Djarin. And we know that the last time we saw Din, he separated from Grogu. Grogu went off to train with Luke, which again we got to see in the Book of Boba Fett, and it was wild. But Din Djarin takes over. And he takes over with the Darksaber and with some authority. He comes in swinging the Darksaber, and it is sick. Everybody's like, okay, we forgot about Boba, but this is awesome. It's Mando Season 2.5, as a lot of people were calling it, because it really was. I mean, Mando comes in and takes control. But you also got to see Mando get a new ship. We saw in The Mandalorian Season 2, over 2 years ago now, the Razor Crest exploded. Boom, gone. So he needed a new ship. And what he got was an N1 starfighter. An N1 Naboo starfighter. Like from Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace, little Annie blasting off in an N1 starfighter and destroying the Separatist droid ship. This is Mando's N1 starfighter. So now him and Grogu are going to be cruising around in Season 3 in this awesome N1 starfighter. But then, of course, we got Luke Skywalker. Now, this was by far the best episode of any Star Wars live action show I've ever seen. It's my opinion, but that means it's fact, because my opinion is obviously fact. So this is the best episode of any Star Wars live action. This is better than the finale of Mando Season 2. This is better than the Ahsoka episode of Mando Season 2. This is better than anything we've seen in a Star Wars Disney Plus live action show. Don't even try and argue with me, because you know I'm right. I mean, look at this. Look at this Luke Skywalker. Are you kidding me? Mark Hamill's like, what, 70 years old? And we got this. This is, and then Grogu's on his back. Does it get much better than this? I don't think it does. I honestly don't think it does. But it could, because you could have a young Harrison Ford, Han Solo. You could have a young, digitally created Carrie Fisher as Leia Organa, and you could have all three of them on the screen at the same time, which the sequels still forgot to do. But I mean, look at it. I could look at this all day. Like, look at how great Luke Skywalker looks. Luke Skywalker is 70 years old now. He doesn't look like this. The fact that we got to see this for like 45 minutes in a whole episode is bonkers. It's still, to this day, insane, and the technology's just getting even better. So we can get any character that you want in live action, no matter how old the character or the actor actually is. You can have them look whatever age you want, because Luke looks fantastic here. And of course, we saw Grogu leave Luke, choose Din over training with Luke. Sad days. But, we'll probably see Luke again when Thrawn shows up and there's a lot of conflict going on. I'm sure we'll see Luke, and maybe even a young Ben Solo with him. So that was the Book of Boba Fett. It was a crazy time to be a Star Wars fan during the Book of Boba Fett, because, again, Luke Skywalker, young Luke Skywalker, Din Djarin comes in, makes it Mando Season 2.5, and you even got a first live-action appearance of Cad Bane, one of the best bounty hunters ever, who was introduced in the Clone Wars animated show, was brought into live action in the Book of Boba Fett, and died. We don't really know if he's actually dead. Do you guys actually think that Cad Bane's dead? I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt Cad Bane would die like that, because they just brought him into live action. And why wouldn't you want to keep that character around for a long, long time? Cad Bane is hands down one of the best bounty hunters, top 5 at least. So bringing him into live action was very cool, and that was kind of just the finale. And you got to see Boba ride a Rancor too, but Mando and Luke kind of stole the show, and of course Grogu as always. Then around May, the end of May, you got Star Wars Celebration. And Star Wars Celebration was a lot of fun this year. We got the Skeleton Crew announced, which is a brand new show that we had no idea about, which is going to have Jude Law in it and other kids going into the new beyond. Now we found out later in the year. But we got announced at Star Wars Celebration. We got the Skeleton Crew announced. We also got the people there got to see an Ahsoka show trailer. They got to see a Mandalorian Season 3 trailer before everybody else in the public did. And, of course, Andor and The Bad Batch Season 2, they got announced, their release dates and all that stuff at Star Wars Celebration. So Star Wars Celebration, to those who were actually even there, was probably a lot more fun than to us people sitting at home watching from a distance, because you got to see all the trailers, and all we really got was Skeleton Crew announcement. But it was still a fun time, because on that same night as the first night of Star Wars Celebration, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show came out. So now the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, of course, a lot of people have mixed opinions on this one, but you can't deny that it exists. That's for sure. It's Star Wars canon and it exists. But was it bad or was it good? The Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Ewan McGregor's back as Obi-Wan. Hayden Christensen's back as Darth Vader, as Anakin Skywalker. How much better does it get? That's what we thought. The first couple episodes are very, very slow. Honestly, very good, solid, fantastic. But the finale's where it's at. It all leads up to the finale. But you have in episode 3, the first rematch of the century, where Obi-Wan just gets dragged through flames. This was the first rematch of the century in episode 3. Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan extremely rusty because, again, like all Jedis do apparently in Star Wars, cuts himself off from the Force. Doesn't really have anything to do with the Force, so he doesn't know how to use the Force. Doesn't know how to use his lightsaber because he buried it in the sand. And it's just it's a bad matchup for him. Vader just craps on him, drags him through some flames. It's not good. It's not a good start for Obi-Wan in episode 3. But by the finale, he is back. And this is one of the coolest finales of a Star Wars show. By far, one of the coolest finales. Because this rematch of the century lived up to the hype. A lot of people watching the show were like, there's no way it could be good or even great. Because it has to be between the Revenge of the Sith fight, which is the best fight in Star Wars, best lightsaber duel in Star Wars, and the A New Hope fight, which is very slow. Obi-Wan sacrifices himself. It's very, of course, it was 1977. But it has to be somewhere in between. Vader is a robot now. He doesn't move like Anakin did in Revenge of the Sith. And Obi-Wan can still move like that. He's just a little rusty. And that's what you saw. You saw Obi-Wan jumping around, and Vader couldn't do that. And it was a really, really good rematch of the century. And, of course, you got Obi-Wan throwing a bunch of rocks at Anakin. He is the high ground, and he creates the high ground by putting it up in the air and throwing it at his opponent. He has a whole new way of high ground. And of course, we got one of the most emotional scenes in Star Wars. To this day, one of the most emotional scenes in Star Wars with Darth Vader. Obi-Wan chops off half his mask like Ahsoka did in Star Wars Rebels. And he says, "You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did." It's one of the most emotional scenes. It's so good. Hayden and Ewan really brought it out in us, and a bunch of people were left in tears, including myself. But it was a great scene. And I mean, just look at this. This is Hayden's performance in this scene is wild, and the way he yells Obi-Wan at the end, a lot like Darth Maul yells Kenobi, is awesome. It's just so good. It's so good. Not to mention the fact we got Liam Neeson back as Qui-Gon Jinn in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So cool. I mean, awesome. They got Liam Neeson back as Qui-Gon Jinn. He hasn't played Qui-Gon Jinn since 1999. So this show came out in 2022, of course. That's 23 years. 23 years since he's played this character, and he came back and he was like, "Yo, what's up? I'm going to do this." What's up, Jonathan? Yeah, that was great. So what did you think was great? The Obi-Wan Kenobi show or the Book of Boba Fett? Or the finale? Jonathan, tell me, please, now. But, yes, Qui-Gon coming back was fantastic. Don't forget to mention the fact that Ian McDiarmid also came back. Whoa, why is this very far zoomed in? Hang on. Ian McDiarmid came back as Palps. Can't forget about that. Jonathan says Liam Neeson coming back was the GOAT. Okay, so Palpatine back, of course. Why not? Just add it in at the end. Of course, that's what they did. They threw him in at the end. They were like, sure, why not? Ian McDiarmid back as Palps. That's what I'm talking about. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show, the finale, just ended with a bang. And it was like the rematch of the century. Liam Neeson back. Ian McDiarmid back. Hayden Christensen back. And Hayden Christensen is back for the Ahsoka show as well. So he's back for good to play Anakin and Darth Vader for us for a long, long time. So again, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was fantastic. I think that finale was so good that it made all the other plot points like Leia under the trench coat and like just stupid things like that, Leia outrunning bounty hunters, like stupid things like that. It all just washed over when you saw the finale. You saw the rematch of the century. You saw Liam Neeson back. You saw Ian McDiarmid back. It all just blew right past you. You forgot all about it, and you were like, okay, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was well worth the wait. It was definitely worth getting. to say the least. It was definitely worth having exist, let's say. But to rank the Obi-Wan Kenobi show out of 10, actually, did I even rank the Book of Boba Fett out of 10? I don't think I did. To rank the Book of Boba Fett out of 10 first, I would give the Book of Boba Fett an 8 out of 10 because of the fact, of course, Din Djarin, Mando Season 2.5, and Luke Skywalker, Grogu, and even Boba escaping the Sarlacc pit, training with the Tuskens was a lot of fun. The train heist in like the second episode, that stuff was cool. It was really cool. So it was a solid 8 out of 10. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show, however, I would give a 7.7 out of 10. It wasn't as good as seeing Luke Skywalker train with Grogu and Din Djarin in an N1 starfighter, but that finale was really good. If that finale was put up against any of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show's episodes except for the Luke one, it would win 9 times out of 10. But after a summer of literally no Star Wars, some announcements here and there, some trailers here and there for the Andor show and whatever, we got D23 at the beginning of September. So the Andor show was pushed back. It was supposed to come out at the end of August or the first week of September, and it got pushed back, which was not good. You don't like to see that. But at the beginning of September, we got D23, and we got a Mando trailer, we got an Andor trailer, and a Tales of the Jedi trailer, along with a release date for Tales of the Jedi. So D23 was just wild. We got 3 trailers for Star Wars. We got a bunch of cool new info about the Ahsoka show, about the Bad Batch, its release date, and so much stuff like that. So D23 was awesome, and it led right into the Andor show. Now, Andor. Let's be real. Andor. Now, a lot of people have different opinions on Andor, and I know people are like, oh, it's too slow. Oh, no lightsabers. Oh, no force. Andor's good. It's not great. It's not bad. It's not even terrible. It's good. It's really good, actually. I wouldn't put it up there like with the greatest seasons of anything. Like, it wouldn't be close to The Mandalorian Season 2, I don't think. But it's up there. It's solid with the Obi-Wan Kenobi show if you take out the finale. It's good. Rank the Andor show out of 10 in the comments right now. Give our boy Andor some respect. The problem with the Andor show coming in was that it's Andor, Cassian Andor, a spin-off character from a spin-off movie that not a lot of people really cared about. If it was more of a Death Star show or like a just called Rebellion or something, I'm sure more people would have watched it. The views were definitely far down. But right around a slow start, but right around episode 6, I do say, if I do say so myself, episode 6, we got the attack on the Aldhani base, and this was one of the coolest episodes, and I mean, visually it was spectacular. The whole show was spectacular visually, and like special effects and all the acting and stuff was really, really good. It's just the story wasn't all that exciting, but this episode was fantastic. Then you get to the point where Cassian gets put into prison, and you have a prison break, and you get why is it zoomed in like that? Why you do this? Then you get Kino Loy. Yes, Andy Serkis came back to play a new character in Star Wars, not Supreme Leader Snoke, and he played Kino Loy, who only survived 3 episodes, but what are you going to do? In this prison break, I think in episode 7, 8, 9 maybe, this prison break was awesome. One way out, this whole prison sequence, probably the best story arc of the entire show. And then you get the finale with Marva dying and her having this hologram to get all these people on Ferrix to like fight back against the Empire, and it was a pretty cool finale, honestly, if I do say so myself. And I can't talk about Andor without talking about the best character in Luthen. I'm sure a lot of people have the same opinion as me because everything I say is a fact, of course. We know this already. But Luthen is the best character of the Andor show, and I mean, look at this face. Come on. But he's awesome. His whole monologue at the end of one of those episodes late was really, really good. And just his character in general. He's in charge. He's starting the rebellion. He's the head guy, and he's just awesome. So that's the Andor show. To rank that one out of 10 would be really tough because, again, like I said, it's very slow. No Force, no Jedi. It lacks the things that make Star Wars, but at the same time, the acting, like I said, the visually, and of course, the time period, Empire, Rebellion, beginning of the Rebellion, was really cool. So to rank the Andor show out of 10, I would give a 7 out of 10. Now, I know that's lower than the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, lower than the Book of Boba Fett, but it doesn't mean it's bad. By any means, don't get me wrong, the Andor show was not bad. Let's make this red. Why not? Boom. The Andor show was not bad. You can't sit here and tell me that it was bad because you would be lying to yourself and lying to me. But it wasn't great. It wasn't the finale of Obi-Wan. It wasn't the Book of Boba Fett even. It was good quality Star Wars content. And right around the middle of the show, I think episode 8 or 9 or maybe even 7, another show by the name of Tales of the Jedi came out. Now, Tales of the Jedi was probably my favorite Star Wars thing all year. It's probably my favorite Star Wars thing in many years, just as the show as a whole. Because, I mean, young Ahsoka, sure, whatever. But Count Dooku as a Jedi was some of the coolest content we got as Star Wars fans. Not only that, we got an Inquisitor with Ahsoka, but it was 6 episodes. I was just talking about this with somebody. It was 6 episodes. That's it. 6 episodes. And not even that. Each episode was about like 11 minutes long. Very short episodes, a very short season, but it was one of the best Star Wars content we've ever gotten. Of course, Dave Filoni in charge of all the animated stuff. He created this himself. Literally took 3 episodes of Ahsoka, 3 episodes of Dooku, all at 10 minutes apiece. You got Dooku as a Jedi with a young Mace Windu. You got a young Qui-Gon Jinn. It was just, it was wild. And then you got Dooku, his fall to the dark side with Palpatine standing behind him versus Master Yaddle. Now, Master Yaddle disappeared after the Phantom Menace in live action. You don't know what happened to her, but this explains what happened to her. She died to Count Dooku in his fall to the dark side after Qui-Gon's death in the Phantom Menace. So in between episode 1 and 2, Master Yaddle dies. And in Legends, she dies in a different way. But we don't know, still never confirmed or not. Let's turn this to green for Master Yaddle. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this production we got going on here. But in Legends, Yaddle sacrifices herself to save Anakin because he's the chosen one. But in this now, she is what helps turn or completes Dooku's turn to the dark side. So this was awesome. By far, probably the best episode of the entire show, if I were to say so myself. But then you got some Ahsoka episodes. And the first one started with Ahsoka being at Padme's funeral, which was wild. In and of itself was insane. I mean, Ahsoka was at Padme's funeral? What? Like, come on, that's sick. Padme dies and is probably like the most likely place where the Empire will be watching because they know that people will show up, and Ahsoka's there. And she talks to Bail Organa, and she has all that stuff happen. But in the last episode, you see Ahsoka take down an Inquisitor without her lightsabers. She takes it down with his own lightsabers, chops off his head, and Tales of the Jedi speaks for itself. Just, if you haven't watched it, I mean, what the heck are you doing? Should we go back to the red for the Inquisitor? Boom, look at this production value we got going on here. But if you haven't been watching this, what have you been waiting for? Like, for real, what are you waiting for to watch Tales of the Jedi? It was, again, I'll say it, the best show we got all of 2022. It was. And to rank Tales of the Jedi out of 10, I would give it a 9.8 out of 10. A 9.8. We're talking almost perfection. And it was only 6 episodes, and each episode was about 11 minutes long. That's how crazy stuff gets when you put Dave Filoni in charge. When you put the right people in charge who actually know Star Wars, actually love Star Wars, actually wants to see Star Wars succeed, Dave Filoni's your guy. And he created the best show of 2022. So when you're talking the best of 2022, the actual best from Star Wars is the Tales of the Jedi. It's just true. It was. It was. And I'm right? So to start the year off, Book of Boba Fett. Then a gap. Star Wars Celebration in May. Star Wars Politics absolutely agrees because Tales of the Jedi was the best, and Star Wars Politics absolutely knows what is up. Right? So you started off the year with the Book of Boba Fett, and then you had a couple months off. Star Wars Celebration in May, in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show with the finale that was so good. Then you have a summer off where we're all forced to watch She-Hulk if you're a Marvel fan, which absolutely was terrible. And then you get into September where you got D23 with a trailer for The Mandalorian, a trailer for the Bad Batch, and a trailer for the Andor show with announcements for release dates for the Tales of the Jedi, for the Bad Batch, and all that stuff. And then you get the Andor show, and during the Andor show you get Tales of the Jedi. So without a doubt, a very, very good year for Star Wars fans. I think for us personally, I mean, you guys tell me. Was it a good year for Star Wars? Was it an off year for Star Wars? Do you think this was one of the best years for Star Wars? I know no movie, of course. We're not going to get a movie for years now. But it seems like Star Wars is on the way up. You think about it in 2019 when Rise of Skywalker came out and The Mandalorian Season 1 came out. Then the following year you had The Clone Wars Season 7 and The Bad Batch and The Mandalorian Season 2. And it just seems like since then we've just been rising. And it seems as though Star Wars is on its way up. In 2023, I've said it a million times now, is going to be the best year for Star Wars content. With, of course, The Bad Batch Season 2 starts on Wednesday. The Bad Batch Season 2. With 2-episode premiere. Then you have The Mandalorian Season 3, March 1st. Along with Jedi Survivor. Blanking on the name for a second there. Jedi Survivor. Also in the spring, you have Survivors. I just said that. Also in the spring, you have Visions. Visions Season 2. A lot of people loved Star Wars Visions last year. I think it was last fall. There's a second season of that coming out in the spring. You get the Ahsoka show probably in the summer. And then you end the year with the Skeleton Crew show. So 2023 is going to be even more content that we got in 2022, and I think it's going to be even better content. So honestly, as good as 2022 was, I think this is just one stepping stone up into a great year in 2023. And honestly, I think it's going to be up from there. Even 2024 is going to be better with who knows what. The Accolade show at least, the Andor Season 2 at least. But even more than that, maybe a Mandalorian Season 4, maybe an Ahsoka Season 2, maybe a Book of Boba Fett Season 2. Who knows? But I think 2024 is going to be even further up than that. In 2025, we're going to get a movie. Star Wars Politics in Today says, do you think people will be as excited for The Mandalorian Season 3? I feel like it may not receive as much attention given how the live-action 2022 projects turned out. So I see what you mean. Will The Mandalorian Season 3 suffer from the lack of attention to shows like Andor, or shows like the Obi-Wan Kenobi show? Think about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. It's Obi-Wan and Anakin, the two main characters of Star Wars, if we're being honest. And the views were very low for that show. Not a lot of people clicked with that show very well. And then the Andor show came out, and not a lot of people at all clicked with that show, even though it was good. People just didn't want to watch it. People didn't know who that character was. They didn't really want to watch it. So Politics is asking here, what do you think that The Mandalorian Season 3 will suffer for that? I don't think so. I think since The Mandalorian Season 2 was so long ago, it was over 2 years ago now, I think people are itching for Grogu and Din Djarin. I know they're in the Book of Boba Fett. I know that. But I think people have just been waiting. Because The Mandalorian Season 2 broke records. It broke insane amount of records viewing-wise for Disney Plus and for just Star Wars in general. So I think that it could be possible that the Season 3 could even break those records. I think it could actually do something along those lines. Star Wars Politics follows up with saying also because of the cliffhanger of Season 2 and Grogu being reunited so quickly. So yes, I think that was a very, very, very dumb idea by Star Wars. By Lucasfilm, by whoever you want to call it, Kathleen Kennedy, by the organization itself. They took this crazy cliffhanger ending, or whatever you want to call it, a great emotional cliffhanger ending in The Mandalorian Season 2, where Luke Skywalker shows up, saves the day, and then leaves with Grogu. He leaves with Grogu. And they took that ending, this emotional connection between Din Djarin and Grogu, their separation being so huge, and then they just reunited in the Book of Boba Fett. And it didn't really seem to be that big a deal. And now, for people who didn't watch the Book of Boba Fett going into The Mandalorian Season 3, are like, how are Din and Grogu already back together? Maybe there'll be a recap at the beginning of Season 3, like, oh, here's what happened in the Book of Boba Fett, if you didn't watch that. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Star Wars Politics. I think that people aren't going to like the fact that Din and Grogu are already back together. I mean, in a different show, it does make sense. It really doesn't, and I think it was a really dumb move by Star Wars. But I still think that The Mandalorian Season 3, just because of the name itself, just The Mandalorian, is going to draw heads. It's going to bring people to watch it because Grogu and, of course, Din Djarin, and people want to find out what actually is going to happen. People are invested in that show itself. And having the difference between having Andor come out and it being the first season of Andor, a character people don't know anything about, in a season 2 or a season 3 of a show like The Mandalorian, is people are already fans of the first 2 seasons. And most of those people did go watch the Book of Boba Fett because they liked Boba Fett or they just wanted to see what was going on next. So they know what happened. But yes, I do think that The Mandalorian Season 3 will succeed, and I think it could break records, especially if it's really, really good. And I think it will be. I think it's not been talked about as much because of all the Ahsoka news that's come out and all the Acolyte news that has come out recently, like about the New Beyond and all the World Between Worlds with the Ahsoka show and stuff. So I think it's kind of flying under the radar, but by the time we get close to The Mandalorian Season 3, like around the end of February, people are going to be talking about it. People are going to be extremely excited for it, and I think that it will actually do very well. I think it will, and it will help the Ahsoka show because the Ahsoka show is going to blow minds. It's going to change everything forever. Star Wars Politics back in saying I'm right. Of course I'm right. What? He says you're right. It hasn't gotten the attention it deserves. I'm excited for it. Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I really am. But yeah, it hasn't gotten the attention it deserves at all. But that's partially, again, due to leaks. Leaks about the Ahsoka show and how crazy that show is going to go with the World Between Worlds and in the New Beyond and Thrawn coming in and all that stuff. The Ahsoka show has gotten the attention for sure. But don't get me wrong, the Mandalorian Season 3 is going to go insane. It will. It will. Bo-Katan and Din Djarin fighting for the throne with maybe even Boba Fett coming in fighting for that throne. It's going to be wild. Like, absolutely wild. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, of course, we can't forget the Bad Batch Season 2 starts on Wednesday. It starts on Wednesday. Are we excited for the Bad Batch Season 2? I was thinking about, like, should we do watch parties for the Bad Batch Season 2? And I think we're going to see how it goes on Wednesday. I think we're going to try a watch party on Wednesday, for sure. Of course, we're going live at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, as always. But I think we should definitely try doing a live stream at least once for the premiere. If it doesn't go too well, if people don't really care and just want to see the breakdown, we can definitely do that. But I want to try out this whole watch party thing because we're definitely doing it with The Mandalorian. We're definitely doing it with the Ahsoka show. So let's start it out with the Bad Batch Season 2. Let's just try it out. We'll just try it out for now. See how it goes. So yes, we're going live on Tuesday at 1 p.m. and we're going live on Wednesday, the release date for the Bad Batch Season 2 at 3 a.m. for me, at least. 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So whatever that means for you, that's what you want. That's what you got. So are you guys excited for the Bad Batch Season 2? Are you? Like, I feel like the Ahsoka show is getting talked about so much, and Star Wars Politics just even said it himself. The Mandalorian Season 3 is not getting that much attention. But let's talk about the Bad Batch not getting any attention. It literally has gotten 0 attention for the last, 6 months. Like, nobody talks about the Bad Batch. Like, the first season's really good. I think the second season's going to be good as well. And nobody seems to talk about it. I don't understand. Like, is it just the Bad Batch isn't going to do well? Is it going to have terrible viewership? Like, I don't understand. It's going to be 16 episodes again. It's going to be a long, long show. And I think it could be really good. I think it could have, we know it's going to have Palpatine. It's going to have Commander Cody. It's going to have Rex. It's going to have Gungi. It's going to have a lot of fun stuff. But is nobody going to watch it? Like, I feel like nobody's talking about the Bad Batch. I made a Mount Tantus video yesterday, because I think Mount Tantus is going to be a huge part of the Bad Batch Season 2, but I also think it's going to be a big part of Star Wars moving forward with even The Mandalorian Season 3, because Mount Tantus is where cloning happens. In Legends, it's where Palpatine stores some things, but it's where Thrawn comes in and clones things, and he creates a Luke Skywalker clone, and he creates a clone army for himself, and Jorah Zabaoth is there, and it's a lot of fun stuff in Legends. But Mount Tantus has just been introduced at the end of the Bad Batch Season 1. And now nobody seems to be talking about it. So I made that video yesterday, and it's doing fairly well. But even somebody commented on it, like, nobody's talking about the Bad Batch. Nobody's talking about Mount Tantus. Nobody's talking about what the Bad Batches actually means for the future of Star Wars. And it seems like nobody really is talking about the Bad Batch. It's a little weird to me, honestly, if I do say so myself. But I do see the Bad Batch being extremely important, and Mount Tantus being important moving forward, for Thrawn included. Star Wars Politics says, I made a video about Thrawn showing up in the future seasons of the Bad Batch, especially with Mount Tantus connections. I could see Thrawn showing up in Bad Batch. I don't know how many future seasons there's going to be of the Bad Batch. I don't see them doing like 6 seasons. I don't even see them doing 5. Maybe 4. Maybe 3. Maybe even 2's the last one. Like, the Bad Batch don't exist in Star Wars Rebels. They don't exist in even Obi-Wan, or even we don't see them in Jedi Fallen Order. So they don't survive. They don't like go do their own thing. They're probably going to die either at the end of season 2 or season 3. I don't think this show's going to go on for much longer, but we could see Thrawn in season 2. You could see Thrawn in season 2, which would be really cool. I just think it might take away from the Thrawn showing up in live action. Having Thrawn show up at the beginning of the year in the Bad Batch Season 2, I think would take away from him showing up in Ahsoka, or maybe even The Mandalorian Season 3 if he shows up in The Mandalorian Season 3. But I think it might take away from the pizzazz of him showing up in the Ahsoka show. But that's just me. Should we go blue for Thrawn? Boom. Whoop. Come on. There we go. Blue for Thrawn. I don't know. I feel like the Bad Batch isn't getting all the hype it deserves. But I'm really excited for it. I'm sure some of you are. So we'll be breaking down stuff for it. We'll be doing all that stuff. But, it's the Bad Batch. What are you going to do? So let's do a brief recap of how great this year was for Star Wars. Let's not understate the greatness of this year for Star Wars. Boba Fett started off the year. And it started off very good. I mean, him escaping the Sarlacc pit, him training with the Tuskens, him doing all that stuff. And then Din Djarin comes in with the Darksaber, kicks some ass, and he gets an N1 TIE fighter. And then you get Luke and Grogu, which is, again, the best episode of any Star Wars content ever created. Hands down. I could look at this Luke Skywalker all day long. It's fantastic. Then you got the Obi-Wan Kenobi show in the spring. So good. The return of Ewan McGregor, the return of Hayden Christensen to their roles, and getting flashbacks of them fighting, having them fight in episode 3 of the first rematch of the century when Obi-Wan was really rusty, got dragged through the flames. Get the rematch of the century, which was great. Obi-Wan using the high ground, which was funny. Getting this extremely emotional scene, which was awesome. And then getting Qui-Gon back getting Liam Neeson back as Qui-Gon Jinn, having Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine because he loves to play him all the time. And then over a non-Star Warsy summer, after it, you get Andor. And then people love Andor, of course, the attack on Aldhani, the prison break, the finale with Marva giving her speech, and of course, Luthen, the best character in that show by far. Tales of the Jedi comes out during it with young Ahsoka, with young Dooku as a Jedi with a blue lightsaber, a young Mace Windu, a young Qui-Gon Jinn, Dooku fighting Yaddle, killing Yaddle. Is Yaddle Grogu's mom? Who knows? But this fight was epic. Palpatine in the background of it. Ahsoka at Padme's funeral, epic. Fighting this Inquisitor, taking him down without her own lightsaber, and so much more cool things. Of course, go buy this Clone Force 99 shirt. What are you waiting for? But yeah, it was a great year for Star Wars. It was. It really, really was. And I can't wait for next year, and I'm sure you guys can't wait either. We got a lot of fun things coming to the channel next year. Hopefully we can get that store on this YouTube channel. We just don't have the subscribers yet. What are we at? 1,170 right now. I'm really hoping by the end of the year we can 10x that. Get to, not the end of this year, that's tomorrow. but 10x that number by the end of next year, be at 10,000. That would be a huge goal, and it would be fantastic. I so greatly appreciate you guys coming to these live streams, liking my videos, commenting on my videos. It's a community growing right now, and I can see it growing, and it's a lot of fun being a part of this community and being able to create this community for you guys. So I can't wait for us going into 2023. This was Ghost Z. What is up? What was your favorite what was your best Star Wars of 2022? What was your favorite thing? Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, Tales of the Jedi. What was it? So going into 2023, I have high expectations for this channel. We're obviously going to go live all the time. We're going to start doing watch parties for the shows that come out. We're going to be doing breakdowns still. We're going to be doing all this stuff. And of course, we're going to have we're going to start doing merch drops. We're going to start doing other things. 100% the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Over Tales of the Jedi? Ghost, did you watch Tales of the Jedi? Did you watch Tales of the Jedi? Over Tales of the Jedi. Are you serious? Did you watch Tales of the Jedi? Okay, so you watch Tales of the Jedi and you still think Obi-Wan Kenobi is the best show. No, I respect it. I respect it. Do you like the finale? Did you like the finale? Of course, I'm sure you must have liked the finale. It wasn't that much. Yeah, it was short. It was 11 minutes per episode, 6 episodes. We talked about that. Yeah. It was only 10, 15 minutes, but it was epic. I mean, all right, Ghost. You're going to make me explain how you're wrong. A young Count Dooku with a blue lightsaber. A young Mace Windu and a young Qui-Gon Jinn. Boom. You're already wrong right there. But then you got Dooku fighting Yaddle. You're already wrong right there with Palpatine in the background. Then you get the Ahsoka episodes with Ahsoka at Padme's funeral and her taking down an Inquisitor in 2 seconds. Yeah, sure, it was only 10 minutes, but it was 6 episodes, so it was like an hour. It's an hour of great Star Wars content. You liked the end of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show? Of course you did. The finale was epic. The rematch of the century was so good. And the emotional scene at the end with Vader and Obi-Wan, it was great. What did you think of Andor? Should I even ask? What did you think of Andor? Or the Book of Boba Fett even? What did you think of the Book of Boba Fett? Do I have to tell you how this was the best episode of anything we got all year? And how it was better than the finale of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show? I mean, can anybody else, am I going crazy, or is this like the coolest thing we've seen as Star Wars fans in a long time? Luke Skywalker, a young Luke Skywalker, digitally created. Because when you look at this side by side with the end of the Mando season 2, it looks night and day. Like the Luke Skywalker at the end of Mando season 2 looks stupid next to this, which is shocking. I mean, look at this. This is so good. And Grogu, of course, being on his back is awesome. Ghost's opinion on the Andor series is he did not like it. Valid. What did you think of the Book of Boba Fett? I liked the Andor show. Don't get me wrong, I liked the Andor show. It was slow. It didn't have lightsabers. All the people hate to hear is, it didn't have lightsabers, so it doesn't make it Star Wars. That's dumb. It was so good. Okay, but it's Star Wars. You need the Star Wars-y things, you know? Boba Fett was good enough. Valid. Yes, it was good enough. It was great. Honestly, that episode with Luke was fantastic. It's Mando season 2.5 if you want to look at it that way. It was really fun. It was cool. It was whatever. Star Wars politics back in, saying Andor has the emotion of Star Wars, just not the mystical elements. Exactly. You hit it spot on right there. It doesn't have the Force. It doesn't have the Jedi and Sith background and stuff. It just has the emotional elements of Star Wars with the Rebels and with the Empire. That's pretty much what it's about, I guess. It lacks the mysticism of the Force, but it has the Rebels fighting the Empire. That's what Andor is. That's what I'm saying. Ghost says there is always something exciting in it, or there is always something exciting in it. What, in the Book of Boba Fett? I don't know what you're talking about, Ghost. I don't know. But are we looking forward to 2023? Because 2022 has come to a wrap. The best of 2022 was the Tales of the Jedi, was the Obi-Wan Kenobi show finale, was the Book of Boba Fett episodes 5 and 6. It was great. There was always something exciting about the Book of Boba Fett. Exactly. It was exciting. It was Boba Fett. It was Mando. It was Luke Skywalker. It was Grogu. Just talking about it's getting me excited and wanting to go rewatch it. That's all what it's all about. And I'm really hoping that that's what 2023 is going to be all about. The Mandalorian Season 3, the Ahsoka Show, Skeleton Crew. Bad Batch Season 2 starts on Wednesday. I'm rewatching Season 1 right now, and it's really good. See you, Ghost. Have a great day. And a Happy New Year if I don't talk to you. But yeah, the Bad Batch Season 1 I'm rewatching right now in preparation for Bad Batch Season 2. It is good. Real good. The Bad Batch Season 1, it starts off so good with Kanan in Order 66, or Caleb Dune at the time, I do believe, and his master dying and all that. It's so good. It's so good to start. And Omega being introduced, Omega being introduced, and just so much fun things going on at the beginning of that show. It does kind of get slow. There's a bunch of filler episodes after that. You get Mochi, whatever they call him. It's Jabba the Hutt's Rancor in episode 3 or whatever. It's awesome. It's awesome. I love the Bad Batch Season 1, and I forgot how good it was, honestly, until I started rewatching it. It's really good. So I'm really hoping Season 2 even steps it up even further. Less filler episodes. Of course, there's still 16 episodes, so I do expect filler episodes. Just fun Star Wars-y things inside. And the best part about the Bad Batch Season 2 is when the director shows up at the end. Directed by Dave Filoni. That's it. That's literally what gets me the most excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. Star Wars Politics says, I did a poll asking my subs what they were most excited for in 2023. Lots of votes for the Bad Batch and Ahsoka, but not much for Mando. Kind of surprising. So a lot of those votes for the Andor show is probably due to the Andor show coming out on Wednesday. It's right around the corner, and people just recency bias are excited for the Bad Batch because it's the next thing. It's the very next thing to come out. And of course, the Ahsoka show is all over the news right now with the World Between Worlds, Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker on Mustafar versus Ahsoka Tano. A lot of cool things like that. And of course, the New Beyond and Thrawn and Ezra and all that crazy stuff going on in the Ahsoka show. And of course, it's probably everybody's most anticipated show. So The Mandalorian does lack a little bit of hype for it. But I'm sure the closer and closer we get Star Wars Politics, we won't have to worry too much about it. I'm hoping at least that The Mandalorian Season 3 doesn't flop. If that happened, that would really be a bummer. It would suck. It would really suck. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. And I'm really hoping that 2023 just goes boom and we all just love to be Star Wars fans again, because that's what it's all about. We want to be happy Star Wars fans. We don't want to be fighting with each other. We don't want to be sad. We don't want to be upset that this character gets ruined, that character gets ruined. That's not what we want. That's not what we want. We don't want Beta Fett. We don't want Beta Fett. We don't want Andor. We don't want those things. We want fun Star Wars-y things. And I don't think it was Andor. I don't think it was Beta Fett. I had fun. This year. Did you guys have fun this year with Star Wars? Because I did. I sure as hell did. Star Wars was so much fun. I literally went from here to here with Star Wars this year. I mean, even look at my background change. If you go watch a video from the beginning of this year, it's wild. Got the new microphone, got the whole new setup, got the new camera. It's night and day. It was such a good year. Such a good year. And I'm hoping that next year goes just as well, if not better. We are on the up and up, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. All right, we're going to get on out of here in a couple seconds, a couple minutes, whatever you want to say. But I got to say it again. Got to go get your Bad Batch shirt, Clone Force 99 t-shirt. Get it in black or white. Small, medium, large, XL, double XL, triple XL, extra small, whatever you want. Boom, right there. Go get it. It's on my Instagram. It's at aguywholovessw.com. Wherever you want to get it, it is there. Should we put this link in the description? I'll put it in the description. If you want 10% off, you can use the code New Year's. You can use the code BB Season 2. Whatever you want. You got the Hello There hats, you got the TIE Fighter hats, you got the X-Wing hats, you got the Rebels and Empire hats. Go get that merch. and get hyped for the Bad Batch Season 2. I'm hoping my shirt comes in by Wednesday. I want to be wearing it during the watch party, but I don't think it's coming in time. I really hope it does, but we'll see. We'll see. I really hope we shall see. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about 2023? It's crazy. Honestly, it sounds fake. Well, let's be real. It sounds fake. Let's go to a pink Death Star. Whoa. White. Let's stick with the white. Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys stick around for it. I'm definitely sticking around for it. I'm doing these live streams with or without you. But I love to see you guys talking in chat. Star Wars Politics, always good to see you. Ghost, always good to see you. Jonathan, always good to see you. I'm going to get on out of here. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day and rest of your year tomorrow, because we got a new year coming, and it's going to be a lot of fun as Star Wars fans. So, with my final take, I have to say, the best thing from Star Wars in 2022 was Tales of the Jedi. Best show, hands down. Best show. Best episode, the Luke Skywalker and Grogu one in the Book of Boba Fett. Runner-up, finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Boom. There you have it. That is my best of 2022. Hoping 2023 is going to be even better. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Smash like if you like this video. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. My presentation should have been the recommended feed of yours. And may the Force be with you. Always.